Hey guys, Rob Reviews here, bringing you the second review for the second episode of Game of Thrones. This will be Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1, The Kingsroad. So this is a pretty cool episode as well. Of course, this is the second one. This originally aired on April the 24th, 2011 and was directed by Tim Van Patten. From what I can tell, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, so we'll go through a brief summary going from the two locations, like the two continents. So first of all, we have the across the Narrow Sea. So basically, we hear some stuff about Jorah. Jorah sort of talks to Daenerys about some stuff. We have a lot of sort of coming back with these whole scenes with Dany asking about her eggs and stuff like that, the dragon eggs, and then we have with her handmaiden, and then we actually see the handmaiden. As well, Daenerys says she doesn't really have any experience with sex and stuff, so the handmaiden sort of teaches Daenerys how to sort of please Khal Drogo, and later on in the episode we actually see her sort of surprise Khal Drogo with some pretty good sex, so that was pretty cool. So Bran lies unconscious in King's Landing. I'm sorry, not in King's Landing, in Winterfell. In Winterfell, Bran lies unconscious. Basically, we have a scene where Tyrion actually ends up slapping Joffrey. We have that scene. We have the thing where Cersei visits the cat to pay the respect. We have things where everyone sort of sets off, and Jon obviously gives Arya a needle as like a final goodbye, which is pretty nice. I love that scene. It's like kind of one of the scenes that we get with Arya and Jon, and probably the only one that we really got, which was quite touching. And I know from the books that they have kind of a stronger relationship. Yeah, so it was a nice goodbye. Then we have obviously Jon setting off before talking to his father, who says that he'll talk about his mother next time he sees him, which is pretty cool. So we're in a little more mystery about who the heck Jon's mother is. Then we have Robert telling Ned about Khal Drogo and Dany. It's pretty cool, and talking about the war and stuff. Then we have an assassin actually coming to try and kill Bran. Obviously we have Kat fighting him off, and pretty intense scene where she's actually she's getting cut herself, and then Summer comes, jumps out of nowhere, and just takes down the assassin. Tyrion and Jon obviously chat, and we have obviously Kat kind of investigating. About this, she obviously finds the blonde hair in the tower, and she knows that the Lannisters are probably involved. She obviously sees the dagger as a Lannister dagger, and she's a bit fishy about all this. Then we have the thing with Arya actually practicing with Mika in King's Landing, obviously playing with the butcher's boy, who was obviously and then Joffrey comes along with Sansa and actually cuts Mika's face. Arya sort of fights back, throws his sword in the sea, and of course before that Nymeria actually comes and bites Joffrey's arm, causing him to bleed, and causing him to also obviously be a coward as she points his sword to him, and he's like, no, quivering in fear. And then later on we actually see the Hound kills Mika. Robert demands that the wolf is actually to be killed, the direwolf to be killed. Obviously it's like sort of no pet, that you shouldn't have that as a pet. But Arya actually casts Nymeria away, throws rocks at her, and she runs away. So Ned is actually forced to kill Lady, which is Sansa's direwolf instead. Obviously Sansa's really upset about this and stuff. And then as he kills Nymeria, Bran just suddenly awakes thousands of miles away. Or hundreds of miles away, not thousands of miles away. Or just many miles away. So yeah. So really good episode overall. I think it was slowish still. It still wasn't like fast, like really fast paced. It was slowish, but I think it had a lot of necessary character development and stuff with Arya and Jon, the stuff with Tyrion and Jon. I really like that scene where obviously Tyrion was talking about his story and comparing himself to Jon, how being a bastard is a lot like being a dwarf. We're both sort of like not really the same thing to our fathers. Really great visuals, like the wall. I forgot to mention obviously Jon seeing the wall and in all its glory. Forgot to mention that actually. That was me. My fault. Yeah, Jon seeing the wall in all of its glory just close to the end. Really cool scene. Really nice to see the wall. Also the direwolves, because of course I'm pretty sure they're CGI'd as well. So, or maybe they're actually just dogs. I'm not too sure, but whatever. They're still pretty good. Like I like how they did that. I also like how Robert sort of mentions Drogo and Dany. It's nice to connect the story because it's like subtle messages like that, sort of dialogue that really bring the story together and help me, for example, who didn't read the books beforehand, actually kind of understand the story, because I came into Game of Thrones not knowing anything about it, and this episode, like that little bit of dialogue, I was like, hey, hang on, Drogo's that guy, miles away with Daenerys, right? So okay, so they're miles away. So it was really, you know, it made it so I could understand things. So overall, I think again it was faster paced than the last episode. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I still think it wasn't perfect though. I liked the scene with the assassin and all that and that stuff, and the stuff with the direwolf and the stuff with Joffrey and Arya. Really cool stuff. But yeah, still doesn't get a massively high rating. But don't worry, there will be Game of Thrones episodes that do. There will definitely be a few that get 10 out of 10s. Don't you worry. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, it's a pretty good episode, pretty solid for me. And yeah, so tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.